I'm here with Adam Snow, our Director of Safety at Training here at Energy Electric. And, you know, we've talked a lot about safety culture and culture in general, but culture is one thing, safety culture is slightly different, I would say, in my opinion. But we've worked very hard at that over the last 5 years, maybe nearly at this point. And Adam has been a huge piece of that. But I suppose let's start out with what does a safety culture mean when we say something like that? What does that mean to you?
It means buy-in. It really does to the program. For us, you know, we started with a commitment document for every single person in the company, and we got people's signatures as you know, as men and women, that they're going to follow a safety procedure and follow a safety program. And we got you to sign that. You were the first signator on that document, that commitment document. And that shows leadership buy-in, and that's the most important part. If you don't follow the safety rules and I don't follow the safety rules, then nobody else has to follow the safety rules. And that's, you know, the foreman doesn't follow the safety rules, or the senior journeyman doesn't follow the safety rules. There's somebody below him saying, I guess I don't have to do that. Yeah. So, you know, and we're gonna suffer for it. So it started at the top. And I asked you guys for something from the very beginning, and that was a way to enforce what we were doing, and the way to support what we were doing. Yeah. Not only in resources, people, money, and time, but also when something comes up, you guys are right behind us. And I think the one of the biggest things that happened right away is our guys had a hard time with you know, following safety on job sites where other subs weren't following safety, or maybe the general contractor wasn't 100% aware. That
friction was tough.
Yeah. And there was some pushback. And, you know, from a leadership standpoint too, if the general contractor doesn't do the things that they're supposed to do for safety, then we don't have to do the things.
So the safety standards were driven externally, not
externally and internally. So we started to fix our side of it, and then we started to show support right away when things came up on the job site that were life safety issues that were caused by other subcontractors, maybe, you know, things that were overlooked from our general contractors, and we started to tackle those too. And I think that was a lot of the frustration from our foremen and from some of our senior guys. Like, look, we want to be safe. We want to do the safe things, but we have a hard time because of external pressure. And that pressure is always there. So the time pressure to get the job done, and, you know, just get it done. Don't worry about the safety. Just get it done. That's always going to be there. And our leadership stepped up and said, listen, we're not going to get it done unless it's safe. So you saw phone calls and emails coming through that Tim Caggiano jumped all over, that Chris Capecchi jumped all over, and you sometimes with escalation had to jump all over and make phone calls to make sure that our guys were safe. And that builds the culture from the top.
And that's a big piece of it for me, I think, at the time, was that we weren't used to, you know, causing a maybe slowdown or a stoppage on a job site due to a safety issue, right? And also, I think the biggest thing I found with the guys and the girls in the field was that they needed a resource that they were able to call to have their back, right? It was one thing us going out telling them, hey, we got you, you know, be safe. But if there's a fall protection issue on a job site and that's a stairwell, there's a lot of people accessing that stairwell, and we bring that to the general contractor's attention or whoever, you know, who wants that kind of hardship in the morning, right? The job is hard enough without causing that issue with the job. But I feel they very quickly realized that you had their back and they had a resource. Okay, I'll just call Adam and he can explain it to me, right?
Yeah, and that's part of it too. When the foreman has so many things to do, knowing that they have somebody to take that off their shoulders sometimes, and they know that that's going to get taken care of. That's, you know, I call it the customer service side of our safety program. They need to know that they're going to get the attention that they're deserved, and that also builds
huge. Because I even saw that with the foreman. They were and anyone, and that's the other side of it too, right? We've said the safety culture doesn't start or stop with me, you, foreman, PM, with anyone, right? It's everybody, right? Everybody's got to participate in it, and that's what builds the culture. And I think, you know, one of the things I suppose that then we did as a company when we bought the company, the first hire actually that I had was yourself.
Yeah.
I think my biggest worry every day is that we will end up in a situation where someone will get hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So touch wood, we're doing pretty good, doing very good on that aspect of things, but it's construction. People are going to get twists of wrists and hurt hands and backs and ears and all the rest
Chances
of it, right?
are.
There's no way around it, but it was something that I think you did very well. And talk to me a little bit about that, because I always say you did it very well. Not necessarily sure how you did it, but you know, when we were on our job sites, you managed to gain relationships with our clients.
Yeah. So first of all, I said customer service. We're not safety police. You know, even though the guys, I think the ongoing saying is OSHA stands for OS. Here's Adam. But it's a joke, and I'm glad it's a joke because it could be serious. That that certain safety people have a perception that they're going to come on the job site and make things hard for you. Or stop the project, or you're going to get in trouble. There's safety police. They're going to yell at you.
Okay.
And some of them do. They just yell at you, and that's it. Right. So our customer service approach is we want to provide information and training. We want to provide equipment to support them, and we want to provide the resources to basically to get the job done safely. And then we're there to help them get those things put together.
Right.
You know, whether they need training for confined spaces or the stuff delivered to their job site in order to do that job. They need to know that it's readily available. That stuff is readily available. Otherwise, it's going to be too hard. They're not going to understand even that they have a hazard, never mind what to do about it, or who to reach back to when it's difficult. So when we go on the job site, it's to do those things and not to yell at people. It's a terrible existence if all you're doing is going to job sites saying, put your safety glasses on, put your safety glasses on.
Yeah, but no one does. And I think you also did a great job of going to maybe the site superintendent for the general contractor, right? And walking out there and having introducing yourself and building that relationship. Yeah,
there's a process. Actually, we weren't doing that for a while. We were trying to be a little secret squirrel about going to job sites, and we realized that people were starting to get a little bit angry. Yeah, and we also realized that we're missing an opportunity, and that opportunity was to go get FaceTime with the general contractor, to go get FaceTime with the foreman, and then to get FaceTime with each and every one of the EDC employees. We try to take the time to go say hi to everybody and see if they have any concerns. But even at the general contractor level, if you send an email or phone or make a phone call and they don't see your face and shake your hands, it's going to be, who are you? What are you here for? Are you one of those safety police? You just
documented something. That's a problem.
And you just documented maybe something that I missed. People get a little bit skittish about that stuff. But if you go talk with them first and make a relationship with them first, and let them know that you're really there to help them out. Even with the general contractor, for us, it's customer service because they are our customer.
100%.
Like 100% our customer.
Yeah.
So if we go there and we say, hey, your fall protection is not in compliance, and they go, well, wait a minute, you're our customer. I'm your customer. What are you going to do about it? You know, we need to be able to help them with the same resources, time, and equipment. Sometimes, right now, I have a box of construction screws and a driver in my truck. So if somebody says, "Hey, I don't have time to put that fall protection up," a general contractor, we're going to pull that stuff out, go head to Home Depot, buy $50 worth of 2x4s, and go put it up for them. So it really truly is about those things. It always goes back to those pillars. Training, equipment, planning, and what's my fourth one?
You put me under pressure now.
Training, equipment, planning, and inspection.
Yeah.
So it goes back to those four things. As long as we can provide the resources for those four things for every one of our customers, our employees, and our general contractors, we'll be successful. In building that culture.
Yeah, so I think the next piece I want to chat a little bit about is our MOD, our EMR rating. Recently, we had it updated for 2026, heading into 27. Something that is an industry standard that people look to, in particular our clients, our insurance vendors, anyone that we work with who wants to know whether we're safe or not, ask for a number. We were in the 0.9, 0.8 world for the last few years.
Yeah.
Really, really worked hard at this. I believe it's tied to safety culture, all of the stuff you just talked about. But it came back at 0.77, which for us is fantastic.
It's
you know,
good.
for the type of work we do, for the amount of people we have. And I know all that falls into the mysterious and magical calculation that becomes what your mod number is, right? But, you know, what does that mean to you, and kind of what your overall sense of the mod rating in relation to our industry?
So mod is one of two numbers that we follow pretty closely as lagging indicators to indicate whether our program is working properly. One of them is the mod rate. The other one is the recordable rate, or the OSHA recordable rate. Both are numbers that are calculated based on, you know, some complex calculus that really is somewhat helpful, but there's limitations to those numbers. The 0.77, the mod rate, is an indication of how much workers' compensation we used in the past 3 years. So that's not an indication of how many people we injured. It's not an indication of how many people had incidents, but it's an indication of how much workers' compensation money we used in the past 3 years. So you can see the holes in that, right? So it's just kind of one little piece. It's great. It's a possible indicator that where our safety program is progressing, but it needs to be a trend over a lot further period of time.
Right.
So it needs to be a 0.77 over a period of time to maintain.
Yeah.
And then it needs to go down to indicate that it's actually working.
Right.
So it might be a dip.
Yeah. It is.
It might be a dip, and it might go back up.
Yeah.
Once we have a big workers' compensation case. So we've put some things in place like our return to work program, where if people do get injured, we bring them back to the work. We bring them back to work under their medical, under their doctor's advice. So if somebody has medical limitations where they can only lift 10 pounds, then we find them work where they can do, you know, where can they can stay under that 10 pounds. And that's important because people stay at work. They stay at their wage, they stay with their teams, and they stay with the company, they stay with the team. Right? And that's worked pretty well in keeping people at work. It's kept people motivated and not sitting on their couch while they're recovering. But it also keeps the cost of workers' compensation down. So there's other things besides the traditional safety program that reduces that number. The recordable rate on the OSHA side, same thing. You know, it's calculated based on the number of people basically sent to the hospital in a year, which doesn't account for the near misses, doesn't account for the small injuries. It's just an indicator of, you know, how, the life safety stuff, whether we're successful keeping that number down and keeping people out of the hospital. So the real part of the safety management system that I look at is the stuff that we do in order to maintain those numbers. And that's the important part for me. Those 4 pillars we talked about in the beginning. As long as we can keep those things going, we should see those numbers trend. And if we see those numbers trend in the wrong way, we got to go back and take a look at our program and see what we can do to tweak it to make sure that we're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's a biggest thing that I felt that from the last few years in particular was, you know, our planning side of it. Because one of the things you talk about a lot that I think really is important is available equipment. You know, we started out in 2021, arc flash suits and the cost of those, and we got one here, pull it out, and it's oh wow, look at this, 1990. You know, it was something that and they're expensive, and we weren't a company at the time that could be forking out 10 of those suits, and maybe that's what we needed. And I think, you know, talk a little bit about where we were then to what we are now.
Yeah, so if you don't make the equipment ready for an electrician, they may make the decision not to use the PPE or
weight or any of that stuff,
anything,
right?
Even down to gloves and safety glasses. If it's not available, if it's not ready, if it's not calibrated, if it's not inspected, it's broken, they may make a decision to get the job done without it. And that's human. I'm not faulting anybody for that. That's what a human does when a human's under pressure. But if my team, if Christian, Xavier, and myself can make sure that at the end of a phone, they dial a phone number and within a few hours they get the equipment that they need and the training to use that equipment sometimes, then they'll make that decision more often, more consistently.
Yeah.
They know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
They know how long it's going to take. They can plan it. And then on the front end, when we're doing program or job takeoffs too, some of those things can be planned into the job as well.
Right.
So like arc flash kits, we know we got a commissioning coming up on some switch gear. We know what the date is.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure that they have the proper PPE way ahead of time.
Right.
And it's going to be inspected and ready to go.
Yeah. And another piece I think that I liked, that I feel, again, there's just all these, that's the thing, right? Safety culture is all these little segments. Consistency is the biggest thing, but there's little segments of things that you've done. But one of the biggest ones, and this was not easy, right? So nothing we're talking about here has happened overnight. But, inside in our foreman takeoff, which is part of their whole survey, is a safety section where they plan the job to see, I'm going to need, I'm going to need certain types of PPE. I'm going to need certain types of equipment at different aspects of time, right? So it is one of those things that I think you've done phenomenally. But it's talk a little bit about why it ended up being inside in the survey and the difficulty with getting that survey done and your piece included and all of that, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's great too, because they see now I have a junior journeyman who can go up to the CEO and say, "Hey, Stephen,
I got hit out in the warehouse, which is down the steps and out over the white line on the ground. And I typically am pretty good with it. And there was just something I wanted to go over and take a look at. And I stepped out and Chris Martel came around the corner. Hey!
Yeah.
Screamed down at me,
So
big smile on his face.
When you can correct the boss on something, it's a good part of your culture.
I was delighted only, and I know Martel's funny because he knew what he was doing, but it was just like, because he knows I'm particular about it. But now the one time I walk out there and I was wrong, and I think that was the
we're all
piece.
human. I did the same thing.
Yeah,
I walked in the back door and I left my safety glasses sitting on my dashboard, and I had one of the most junior apprentices coming at me, going,
Love
"Hey, Zach."
Yeah.
Zach was like, "Where's your safety glasses?"
There's a bit of wanting to do that to you. That's in particular too, right? There's a bit of satisfaction in pulling you up on it, Adam.
Yep.
But it can
be fun. It can be.
It can be fun. It should be, right? Because I think it's like, the competitiveness of not getting called out makes you safer. Like, it's not rocket science, right?
Back to the point. It's you can make it muscle memory.
Yeah.
Over time, some of these things should become muscle memory. So you shouldn't have to slow down your job site to do a confined spaces entry. That foreman knows that as soon as he sees something that might look like confined spaces, he pulls out a little assessment form, goes click, 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 and I know, I need some extra equipment. Call Adam, and it's done.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think overall we're in a great spot, and we'll continue to do it because it's every day right now on our job sites. It's a critical piece of what we're doing, and I thank you very much for keeping them all safe out there, creating the program that we have, and it's one of those things you just sometimes don't want to pat yourself on the back too quick because there's something coming around the corner, right? So I thank you very much for all you've done.
Oh, appreciate it.
All right, brilliant.